If you enjoy the show, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it to your social media platforms. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show. Welcome back, everyone. Matt with Tactical Tequila Podcast. And on tonight's show, we have Andres Zapata. He is the founder of Casa ZG, a beverage mix company specializing in Sangrita mixes, Michelada mixes. He has a background in project management, animation with 2 and 3D modeling, and video production with video editing. Did I miss anything?
No, you did not. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, thank you
Uh,
for being on the show. I appreciate your time. And so, just kind of diving into things, I'm going to hit you with some quick questions here. Blanco,
no problem.
Reposado, or Añejo with your Sangrita?
Most blancos, some reposados.
Do you have a
So,
favorite Blanco that you like to use?
we have several. We've been working with Tequila Rey del Mundo, have been very supportive. We also like it with G4. One of my other favorites is Tapatio 110. And the Especial Alto Grado. So last year was a great year for high proofs, and it was great to pair them with our Sangrita.
Well, tonight I'm actually having it with the Siete Leguas 47, and I can tell you that it
Oh,
is phenomenal in with your mixed, and I also mixed it with a orange mango cold pressed juice, so
mm,
it gives it that spiciness from your mix and then the sweetness from the mango, and
hmm,
it just pairs very well.
fantastic. That sounds
uh,
like a great.
where's your favorite place to sip tequila and Casa ZG mix?
So my favorite, my happy place is playing dominoes with friends and having uh, our tequila and our sangrita side by side. So uh, just enjoying good company and a good sipping tequila with our sangrita.
And then one ingredient that will never be in your sangrita mix.
Artificial food coloring.
That's a good one. I love it.
Yeah.
Dream celebrity to try Casa ZG with.
Uh, Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
So yeah.
What's the first word that comes to mind when you think of sangrita?
So I like to think of it as an alternative and different experience to having drinking your tequila with your favorite tequila with. So alternative and a great experience.
What inspired you to start Casa ZG?
So I used to make sangrita for parties for friends where we used to get together, a bunch of friends, and have tequila. And I started bringing it, but it was a fairly complex process of getting all the ingredients. I used to get orange juice and all the lime juice, and it took a fair amount of time every time that I took it to a party. And once we did, a lot of people would ask, why don't you bottle it? And why don't you bottle it? And so there were we can dive into it, but there were a lot of different uh, reasons not to do it in ready to drink, and it wasn't until we came up with a powder mix that it started to make sense to me.
And kind of walk everyone through the story behind the brand's name.
So it's actually fairly simple. I started this with my wife, and my last name is Zapata, which is a fairly well-known last name in Mexico, thanks to a revolutionary hero. But there's a bunch of products out there with the last name Zapata, and since that also started with my wife, we decided to combine both last names, which is fairly common in Mexico, in all Hispanic countries. And we shortened it to ZG. So my last name is Zapata. My wife's last name is Garcia. So that's why we decided to call it Casa ZG. So,
Nice. I
yeah.
that's a great um, story as to, bringing your wife into the mix and being able to, come up with a name and still shorten it, but still get the point across of what you're trying to do there.
And hopefully, we have two daughters, and hopefully they use the hyphenated version of the name Zapata Garcia. So if in the future they interested in taking it over, that will be up to them, and it's ready to go.
Very nice. And how would you say that your personal or cultural background has influenced the creation of this mix specifically?
Well, early in my life, I was introduced to Sangrita and uh, Tequila sunrises, and then I found out about Sangrita. So, I mean, growing up in the '70s, Tequila Sunrise was pretty uh, well-known drink. Um, and then I found out about Sangrita and started drinking the commercial version available in Mexico. Um, and just developed a taste to having my tequila with some Sangrita, which is pretty common in Mexico. I think it's regional sometimes, but pretty common. So um, I don't. The one thing I don't have is a tie to or a family tie to Jalisco. I was born in Mexico City, grew up in Tijuana, and then I came here in my college years. So.
Okay.
Um,
And you studied architecture, correct?
Correct. I studied so Casa ZG is my Andres Zapata's and my wife's it's kind of version 3.0.
Okay.
So the architecture, the 3D animation and now Casa ZG, which is yeah, passion project.
And then since we're on the brand and the name, can you describe for the listeners and those that are viewing the your logo?
So we wanted to drive across the idea of what Sangrita is and tie it to tequila. So we kind of imagine this agave plant receiving a drop of Sangrita. So that's why at the bottom of the logo, it's a little bit more of a agave plant with the red drop for the Sangrita. So.
Okay.
Um,
Very nice.
that that was
I looking on the back of the packaging, I can see, and even if you look at it from far away, it sort of resembles even a an eagle or a bird. Um, in my opinion, with
yeah.
with its wings spread out, and from afar, like that's what I would look at it as a bird. But getting closer, like I see exactly what you're talking about, and the drop coming in. Like, it's a great logo.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, and that with our background, we developed the logo in house, and now that our daughters have grown up, they also come in to the mix. One of my daughters does marketing, does search engine optimization. So she helps us with that and some of the marketing messaging. And our other daughter is a mechanical engineer, but she's a great artist also. So she's got a good eye. So she kind of slaps it. Keeps it in check.
Was there a specific moment or experience that sparked the idea for the brand?
Well, I alluded to it before, but I think it was when trying experimenting and it, for a long time thought that having a ready to drink with citrus flavors was very hard. So if you if you do it fresh, it has a short shelf life. If you go for a longer shelf life, you're going to change the flavor of particularly citrus, the orange juice and the lime juice a lot. So you're going to sacrifice there. And I did not want to sacrifice. I wanted to bring a sangrita that had fresh flavors. And with a lot of experimenting and sourcing of ingredients, I was able to find most of the ingredients that we needed to make a traditional sangrita: chile, spices, fruit flavors, and everything you need except the orange juice. So that you just buy one of our packets, combine it with the orange juice, and you're done. So the idea here was to save time, but and have a great shelf life, good shelf life, and still have fresh flavors, which was very important to me.
And I think you've done a great job at showcasing that. Even just opening the package and getting those aromas from the dry seasoning in there. It's a not not too overwhelming, but it's a great smell when you open it and get to it.
Thank you.
What would you say that sets Casa ZG apart from other Sangrita mixes on the market?
I think a couple of things. I think we've shot for having a great flavor that pairs with tequila, and uh, keeping the quality ingredients is very important to us. Um, and the other thing is that I think all of the other commercial brands out there use tomato juice as part of the base. And even though we don't mix it, I mean, you're free to mix it with your own juice, whether it's um, orange or if you want to add tomato. Um, that's your choice. But we promote the idea that the most traditional version is the orange juice version. And we think it pairs the best with tequila. And it brings out some of those citrus and peppery flavors of tequila. So I think that's the biggest differentiator. And also the form, the the package form, the powder mix. I don't think there's another one out there right now in powder form. Most of them are ready to drink.
Okay. How do you ensure the consistency and quality across every batch?
We try to source the ingredients from the same suppliers, ensure that they're good quality ingredients, and we do it in small batches now. Um, we can dive into it a little bit later, but we had a version previously that um, we did with a co-packer, and it was good. It worked out okay. But I think now we've come back to smaller batches and trying to keep that quality consistent.
And ideally, how small are the batches?
Oh, we'll do in a small couple hundred packages at a time. So, and the beauty of this, I think, is that we can ramp up if we need to and keep that quality. So, and that's
Okay.
what we aim to do. Just maintain quality is going to be very important to
Are there any events that you guys are going to be at in the coming year?
Right now we're scheduled to do agave and beer in Stockton on May 18th. So we're trying to do more and get them in the schedule, but right now that's promising to be a really big one. So, and possibly we'll go back to Sabor and Cultura in LA. So
Okay.
we did Sabor and Cultura last year, and it was a blast.
Yeah, I
And
was
we
there and was able to partake in a good portion of a lot of the brands there, but there were some brands that I totally missed just because I had gotten so engulfed into conversation with the master distillers or the brand owners that were there.
yeah, it was a fun event. And most of them are. We also did Arte Agave in Austin the last couple of years. So, and that was a lot of fun too. So, we
Well, I will be at Sabori Couture in Chicago this year, so
oh great.
hopefully I'll make it out to the LA one as well.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, we won't be able to attend Chicago, but it looks like it's going to be a blast.
I'll let you
So,
know how it is.
oh, I'm
uh, and just moving on, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you've had in starting and launching the brand?
I think we've always known, and I think it's going to be a challenge for a while, is that not that many people know about Sangrita and how it's kind of embedded into culture of tequila. So, uh, I- that's I think that's our biggest challenge is uh, one that tequila is a lot of new tequilas is meant to be sipped, not shot, and and that part of that is Sagrita goes alongside with it. So, um, and that it's not as well known in the U.S. as it is in Mexico. So I think that's sort of the challenge, getting the word out there. So being on podcasts like yours is phenomenal for us. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And for those listeners that may not exactly know what Sangrita is, what is Sangrita?
Sangrita, I like to think of it as an accompaniment to tequila. Um, if you want to call it a chaser, a sidecar, um, I like to see it. Some people describe it as a palate cleanser, and some people will use it like that for events. I like to think of it as a palate enhancer.
Okay.
It kind of does things in your palate when you're enjoying a good tequila, and that's why we like the orange juice version in our mix because you discover other flavors in some tequilas. And I think the tomato juice versions kind of kill the flavor of tequila. So this one I like to see it as a accompaniment, as a companion as your partner in crime to tequila.
So it's safe to say that it's better to have it alongside tequila than it is to make it more of a mixer, or
Our preference is to have it like this. So
okay.
he's sip a little bit of tequila, sip a little bit of the sangrita in whatever order you like. Um, and then I tend to serve a little bit more of the sangrita because it'll keep you hydrated, lots of vitamin C. It'll make you feel good in the morning.
Well,
But
if you're drinking out of the free tequila, that also helps as well.
it does. It does.
Well, I can say that unfortunately I didn't do it as a side by side. I actually
Oh.
did it as a mixer, and as a mixer, I can tell you that I like it this way. But
Hmm.
for sure, the next time around, I'm gonna try it the way that you've recommended.
Oh, yeah, it's like many other tequilas. Drink what you like, how you like it. So, if you want to mix it in cocktails, it works great. We have some recipes on our website. You can do kind of a spicy type margarita. You can do, it's great for a vampiro. A vampiro is almost like a regional drink in Northeast Mexico, very popular in that area. And it's the tequila with sangrita and topped off with grapefruit soda.
Okay,
So, mhm.
very nice.
So
That
kind of,
sounds
kind of,
delicious.
kind of like a paloma, but with
Mhm.
sangrita.
Okay. Um, how do you feel that the market has responded to Casa ZG so far?
The response is great. We get a phenomenal response at events. Um, a lot, like I said, a lot of people don't know about sangrita, so they're kind of surprised. And then when they try it alongside the tequila, we usually serve samples with a little bit of tequila so people can try it. And it's a lot of fun to listen to the oohs and ahs and the smiles. That's to me is the most rewarding part. And also from the community, from the tequila community, we've gotten a great response. So I mean, we've got um, support from like your podcast. Amigos del Maguey have been tremendously supported. Mike, Mel, well, Eddie, um, Rudy's a big supporter. So uh, from La Diosa Project, we have Letty and Amy. They're great. So they've helped us a lot. Uh, and now we're working with uh, Cantu Group also, who's distributing Tequila Rey del Mundo, and they're trying to get it into stores and restaurants alongside with their tequila. So.
Okay, that'd be nice to see. Right now, what markets do you ship anywhere worldwide or?
Not worldwide. We recently started. So part of that, uh, trying to get the word out, I was like, okay, so with uh, some liquor stores, retail, you're hitting like small numbers of people. And then with uh, trying to get the word out there and being on podcasts like yours is like, okay, how do we make it accessible to people? So our initial intention early this year was to get into more retail stores, but I quickly turned and went the Amazon way. So it I kind of dragged my feet, but then put a bit of effort into getting into Amazon, and now we're as of kind of this week in available in Prime,
Okay.
so that when the so that it's more immediate and um, it was hard to like tell people is like, well, we're in that store like way over there, a couple hours from you.
Hmm.
So I think accessibility and being able to, or people being able to buy it and receive it quickly is kind of important these days. So I think that uh, we did that, and now we're going to be reaching out more to specific retail stores that are more focused on tequila.
Okay.
So a couple of weeks ago, um, Roxana from Ancestral Bottle Shop in Atlanta placed it in her store, and I think the that type of store is going to be very critical for us. So because they are more aware of tequila culture. They're pushing everything around tequila culture, and I think those would be a good fit for us.
And kind of hitting on that a little bit here, have there been any unexpected lessons or pivots that you've had to make?
Like with any growing business, I think yes. And we started a few years ago, and then kind of did a relaunch recently. Um, and a few years ago, we went with a co-packing route, and we came out with a pouch. It was very similar, powder form, similar formula. And but we did a lot of units, and it was like we didn't have social media back then, so it was it we were stuck with a number of units, and so we decided this time around to do small batches because we would be more on top of shelf life, keep it fresh, keep the quality consistent. And also, we've done a couple pivots where we responded to comments from some people that we used to have one of our fruit flavors had direct dextrose on it. And Actually, it was Heidi from Tequila that got a sample, and she said, I don't come to anything with dextrose. And that got me thinking, is like, okay, uh, I need to change this. So we did research, found the flavor that had the dextrose, found it without any uh, uh, sugar or dextrose, and we supplemented with cane sugar. So now we have it's not a whole lot of sugar that we have in our product. It's a little bit, but we substituted that. So now we have pure cane sugar, and it does taste better. So,
Okay.
and also, we've been doing these packets now that are resealable, so you can mix less. So instead of doing a package that you kind of have to use the whole package, these are resealable, and we've added a silica packet to keep the moisture away. So it keeps it from caking while it's on the shelf, and also if you open it, you can serve yourself. It'll minimize, reduce moisture. So once you open it, it'll help keep it dry.
And I know you kind of touched on this a little bit in the beginning of the podcast, but what does the brand represent to you personally?
Uh, well, like I said, it's version 3.0 for me, and it's a passion project. I mean, I love cooking. And I think that also ties into the cultural thing that you asked before. And I think food is a very important part of culture and what we do and what has driven us to come up with this. And so it is definitely a passion project and something that we would like to see grow, um, and get the word out about elevating your tequila experience.
Well, you mentioned food, and there's just so much that you can do with food, and what food can represent. Food can represent love. It can represent passion. It can represent friendship. Um, Probably hundreds of other things as well. But those are just some of the things. And I can see that in talking with you here and trying your product, I can see where all of that ties in.
Thank you. Like I think you put it perfectly. It ties in all of those things, all of the above.
Where
Food, friends, great flavors.
very much so. Where do you see the brand going in the next, 3 to 5 years?
I would love to see it where, and what we want to shoot for is to where people recognize Sangrita as part of tequila culture and people start asking more about it. I think 3 to 5 might be a little bit ambitious to get it everywhere, like all bars and restaurants or retail stores, but I think the goal would be to get it um, into those segments of the market that already are aware of tequila or are very involved with tequila and have that awareness of sangrita to go alongside, and possibly have an alternative to just like margarita. So that there's another uh, uh, ingredient out there to go along with your tequila.
Are there any plans? I mean, just other than trying to get into um, bars everywhere, are there any plans to expand the product beyond that?
Beyond the sangrita, I mean, beyond, I'm not sure
So,
what
I
you
guess
mean.
expand it beyond just having it in bars everywhere, more retail shops. Are there any other, besides the michelada and the sangrita, are there any other plans to expand
The
into?
product line, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we have a couple other versions of sangrita in mind. Um, Possibly a more smoky version. This one tends to be a little bit on the sweet side, maybe a little bit something a little bit less sweet and more smoky. Um, I've also it interestingly enough, it goes the color is very dominant. So once you put it into a cocktail and you can see it on your cocktail, it changes to red, and it's very difficult to kind of once it's there do something else.
Hmm.
And a lot of the rimming salts now are also red. So we're thinking of doing rimming salts that are either white or mix them with some lime, and probably shoot for the high ends and maybe doing like a fleur de sal rimming salt where it's more flaky. So yes, we have other flavors in mind for the michelada. Possibly the same thing. A lot of people, similar to the sangrita, the michelada is also many people recognize it as a tomato ba juice based mix beverage when it's ready to drink. Also, um, but we get some surprising responses to ours so. Um, it is great. I prefer it this way with beer, especially with lighter beers. But I think for darker beers, we can probably um, come up with other versions for it too. So you can have more choices.
And what what is your hope for the experience that people will feel and get into when they drink Casa ZG?
The understanding that it is part of tequila culture and uh, that, and it's not just the brand itself, but that they get to experience that they get a different experience when drinking tequila. That's my hope.
Okay.
So yeah, so that people they say, oh, drink it, and they say, oh, I get it.
And
So
and
and we've had some good cool experiences with that.
well, I can tell you the first time that I had tried it was actually during our bottle share, and it was just after I had won a bottle which Rudy still owes me for. That was for his 12 days of tequila.
The 12 days. Mm-hmm.
Yep. That was the first time that I had received a package of it. I made it for our bottle share that we had here at the house, and people loved it. I probably would have rather not mixed it with just orange juice, but I did fresh squeezed orange juice. I really like it with the orange mango.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm trying it the second time around, and I can tell you that you get the, like I said before, the spice to it, but then you also get the sweetness of the mango on the backside of it, and then you get the little bit of black pepper from the tequila, and you get that agave-ness from it as well. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Rudy's also been a big supporter. He encourages us, and sometimes we post some of our content on Instagram. He's been great and met him at an industry event for the first time a couple of years ago in LA, and he's been great. Um, but yeah, we did get a lot that quite a bit. I think one of, and I was going to ask, when you, I didn't know the story, but I knew you had received a package back then. So I was going to ask what compelled the interest in our Sangrita.
I'm sure probably many others. I didn't know what Sangrita was. And I was like, okay, it sparked my interest. Like, what is it? Is it, at first I thought, well, is it a mix between sangria and a margarita?
Good.
And so, like, then I started diving down the rabbit hole, trying to do more research on it, and come to find out that, like you said, it's a traditional drink that you do side by side, or for me, and mix in a cocktail.
You make, mhm.
Um, And just kind of closing out, where can everyone find you on social media?
They can find us at casa.zg on Instagram and on TikTok. Um, they can find us at Casa ZG at X or Twitter. And our website is casazg.com. So all together, casazg.com. And you can order from our website. And also, if people would like the convenience, we are now on Amazon and shipping on Prime. So if you want it quick.
and on Amazon, they can just search up Casa.zg
Casa,
or Casa ZG.
Casa ZG. Casa
Okay.
ZG, and both, if you do a search for Casa ZG, both the Sangrita and the Michelada will pop up.
Perfect.
So,
Well, Andreas, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you coming on the show and, explaining your story behind Casa ZG. And everyone, if you get a chance, go get some Casa ZG, either the Michelada or the Sangrita mix. You will like it.
thank you very much, Matt. It's been a pleasure meeting you up via the internet. Hope to get a chance to meet you soon.
Likewise, would love to meet you in person. If you're ever in Las Vegas, feel free to hit me up.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night.
Have a good night.